Shalom, Barack Obama. This is Yehoshua Ya'acov from Jerusalem again. Um, Let me first respond to your speech that raised it's a tempest in a teapot. The opposition is desperate. People cling to their guns. The context that was lifted out of context, you were clearly referring to agendas by which voters vote um, uh, regarding gun control. Okay, so it's a tempest in a teapot because they're desperate. But now let's get on to the more substantive issue. The economy, the economy, the economy, and jobs, jobs, jobs. In Steelton, Pennsylvania, in all of the Pennsylvania towns. I've been making videos and following every video you've made in every town in Pennsylvania. I've made a video and emphasized the new economic paradigm and its development and the implications. The economy is running at 14 trillion, and how do we get? The question right now is the macro question, and you've got to focus like a laser, and you've got to lead from the front and go forward to the future. The question is how we get from 14 trillion to 42 trillion. How do we triple the gross domestic product? What do we have to do? And the answer is develop and implement the new economic paradigm. I'm its author. And how do we do that? Is world-class global technological infrastructure. First, the DNC has to, in the platform committee, make that the platform of the party for the presidential campaign, get you elected as president, legislate and mandate the development, implementation, and acculturation that retools the entire U.S. economy by re-educating and retraining 3 generations. It'll take a 4 to 5 trillion investment amortized over 20 years. By years 16 to 18, we'll have tripled the gross domestic product. We'll have gone from 14 to 42, 43 trillion. Having said that, in addition, we will have eliminated in that same time frame the national debt by years 20 and 21, the out years. We will have fully serviced the entire debt, which will bell curve, in the bell curve, which will peak out. No, it's not a bell curve. Yes, it'll be, sorry, bell curve. It'll peak out at years 12 to 13 and be paid down by the out years of 2021. And the amount of the maxing, the bell curve, it'll max out the national debt at about 14 to 15 trillion. Coming out of that with a 42 to 43 trillion gross domestic product is a good investment with a dollar that has 3 to 3.5 times the purchasing power of today. No national debt, no trade deficit, no Social Security deficit, national health insurance from cradle to grave free, no Social Security deficit. This is a win-win situation. This is what is the vision based upon what? International content. Humanomics in general. Humanomics in general, which is the trilogy. 2,500 pages, a few hundred graphics. And what we have is the convergence in the trilogy of Humanomics. We have the convergence model of East and West systems after the collapse of the local reality globally. It's already occurred. It's irreversible. It's already begun in America. Only in America, it's imploding rather than collapsing. Having said that, this is the way forward. Now, the state of the world, the exile of man and mankind is ended. And what's the problem? Denial. And not only are we in denial in Israel, but we're in denial around the world. You in particular have to end the denial. In order to ascend, to inhabit the quantum reality, which is man's redemption, in the context of its new framework, which is receiving to give, we have to end the denial of the collapse of the local reality, which was giving to receive, which was the model of exile. That has happened. That's irreversible. It began in the Soviet Union. It was confirmed the next year in Yugoslavia, in Israel, in Iraq, in Lebanon, in 5 or 6 other countries around the world. 2011, 2014, it's moving around, it's traveling around the world. It's irreversible. That's the state of the world. Now the campaign dialogic of the extreme inequity and discrepancy between Wall Street and Main Street is legitimate, but the question of ideology, whether we're going in America towards socialism, are we going to retain the underlying principles of democracy? These questions are only answered by delivering the promise of democracy, and you deliver that by recognizing that the pie, the ever-increasing pie, the share of the pie, has been an ever larger increasing share. As the pie has increased, an ever increasing and larger share is going to Wall Street in deference to Main Street. That inequity is because the one is organized and the other isn't, and in between organized labor, the AFL-CIO, is on the back foot because capital owners are shifting jobs, closing down plants because they're not sufficiently profitable and efficient, and they're shipping them overseas. So the question is, what do? We develop and implement new world-class global technological infrastructure. We re-educate and retrain the workforce, and the indexed in doing that, the project will be employing at the end of year one, it'll be employing tens of thousands of jobs a month, sustained through years 10 and 11, when we reach full employment. And we're not talking about the 4%, which is common. 4% is viewed as full employment. That will be redefined. We're talking about real full employment. Having said that, the average index wage by years 5 to 7 will be double the present level, and they will triple by years 14 to 16. And those, so we're talking about a win-win situation. The question is the development implementation of this new world-class global technological infrastructure based upon the new economic paradigm. A very valuable technology, a very valuable asset. So who's going to own it? And here's the answer, folks. Are you ready? The workers of America are going to own it. Those tens of millions of people who are creating the national wealth are going to own it. And they're going to have a mandate for owning it. I own the intellectual property necessary to develop it, and that is the condition of the legislation that we mandated in the policy, and it will be met. And it will also require in the out years, beyond the out years of the project, where there's massive surpluses of multi-trillion-dollar surpluses that will be used to transfer the wealth, not only to the intensified training and development, particularly in sustainable human development, but most particularly sustainable development projects in the LDCs, the less developed economies, so that they're raised up. That's the greatest blessing of all of the project. This is the win-win situation for Steeltown. There is a future. We're Americans, and you should know that I've been criticized very robustly and very consistently that you're not to be trusted, you're too young, you're a socialist, a hidden broom closet, hiding in the corner, a socialist. I've heard every libel. Look, I have faith in America. I have faith in Barack Obama and in the process, and I've offered the explanation of what we do as a country, as Americans and American people, to John McCain. But I've been also forthright and said that I endorse you and that you're the man of the hour for the future. And I've said also that you have to ascend the learning curve and inhabit the quantum reality and lead yourself, your family, your community, and your nation, and I believe that you'll do that. So having said that, this is the future, Humanomics in general, the new economic paradigm in particular. I'm Yehoshua Ya'acov from Jerusalem. Thank you very much for listening, and stay tuned. Much more coming from Jerusalem.